Hello, everybody. All right, today is Thursday, January the 16th, 2025. Uh, Welcome to the Mikestand. We're going to give people a few minutes to come in. If you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Well, let's see. What. Let's see. What can we talk about? Oh yeah. So as you guys know, I've been watching some Golden Age cartoons of late. Saw a very interesting Merry Melodies one earlier where a mannequin was leading a song a bit there. um, they had a crazy, Columbia had some stuff out with a crazy cat and crazy cat cartoon and a Scrappy cartoon in which Scrappy was running a flop house. Had a couple of screen songs on there, I believe, as well. And they had Betty Boop for President, which which was the first cartoon I watched today. Not the 1980 one. It was one from 1932, with the one that they actually redid as Olive Oil for President. 1948, the famous studios did Olive Oil for President. So, anyways, let me take care of something real quick, and then when I come back, I'll go ahead and talk about what's on tap for tonight. Let's see. La 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 la. La 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 la. Let's see if we can draw in a few more people here. Go. All right, so there we go. All right, so now we're coming up on the 4 minute mark here. So I'll talk about what's on. Let me just do one more thing here, and then I'll talk about what's on tap for tonight. All right, so with that being said, of course, all right, so tonight we're gonna go over the indie comic showcase from Bleeding Full. We're gonna the three, I think, the three featured comics that they're going to be going over are Frankie Crossroads, Vampire Killers, and Venus Rises. Let me see. Also, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up. Kind of get caught up on what happened on last night's Dynamite. Look ahead to tonight's TNA. You know, as tonight's TNA Impact will be the go home Impact before this Sunday's Genesis pay per view. Um, and of course, we'll have this day meets history as well. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead get started then? Let me pull up the article here that we'll be going over tonight. All right, so there it is. So here we go. Indie Comic Showcase number 293, Frankie Crossroads, Vampire Killers, The Venus Rises. Article by Chris Braley, published yesterday, January 15, 2025. All right, so welcome back to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle. And of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. That's usually where you get the perks of being a supporter of the project. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. Also, you can check out my show here when I go over the article, go over the material as well. So, as another source. On Indie Comics, Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. So, the first one here from Brian H. Blackson Jr., VK, Varian Keller's Vampire Killers. So let me go grab the link there. So this is going to be a Kickstarter campaign. I'm going to make it here. So here's the link to go check it out. It's of course on on Kickstarter rather. I want to go check out the article. There it is. All right, so there's the link for you guys to follow if you guys want to go grab that. But let's take a look at the comic itself. So, VK Varian Keller's Vampire Killers by Brian H. Blackson. So, story by Brian H. Blackson, art by Chababit. All right, so let's see what's going on here. So, Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Brian. Tell us your pitch for this first chapter of your comic, Varian Keller's Vampire Killers. Brian Blackson, a brutal attack in Neo-Delphia reveals vampires as a deadly threat lurking in the shadows. VK Chapter 1 follows young Wrath, a relentless vampire hunter thrust into battle for survival that could determine the city's fate. This isn't just the start of an epic story, it's the foundation of the Venus Orion Comics universe. Wow. All right. A world I've been crafting for 5 years. VK Chapter 1 is the first of 10 chapters in the Shadows of Ascension arc. Sounds interesting. Let's see. Shadows of Ascension sounds like a very interesting arc there. A gritty tale set in a dystopian city where corruption and vampires rule the shadows. As alliances are tested and secrets unravel, young Wrath and the Retributes face monstrous and human foes in a fight to expose the truth. And we have somebody here. So what is happening? Well, I'm going over Indie Comic Showcase from I'm going over Indie Comic Showcase from Bleeding Fool. So if you haven't already, if you can help out by liking and sharing the screen, see if we get some more friendly people here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. And if you, of course, you want to check out this comic for yourself, there's a link to it. It's a Kickstarter campaign. I'm going to go check that out. Power to you there, as it were. All right, so back to the article here. Tell me the genesis of this project, Chris asked. And then Brian, VK was an idea my father and I came up with back in 2006. It was planned to be a live-action YouTube series, but never happened since I was in college at the time. During the pandemic in 2020, I decided to approach an artist on Fiverr to draw the Varian and the Draybon brothers in an anime art style. All right. It was supposed to be just for fun, but after I presented it to my father and my brothers, things took an unexpected turn. My father was excited and suggested that maybe this can become an anime or something. Well, animation is expensive, so the next best idea was turning it into a comic book series first and build from there. Yeah, that's usually the way a lot of people go about it. Mm-hmm. All right, so as we continue on with the article here, I guess these are some of the names. Young Wraith over here, over on the far left there. Hezekiah Draven, Keo Isaiah Draven, Strike Caleb Draven, Deadly Inhaler Varian Keller. All right. Let's see. Chris, who is this project aimed at? Brian, if you're into anime and manga style comics, then this is definitely for you. The VK series is dark and gritty, aimed for teens and adult audiences. Chris, what's your experience in this genre? Brian, I'm new to writing, been crafting this universe and its lore Bible for about 5 years now. I began with a character idea, and from there I crafted a story around them. This eventually ties into other mechanics and concepts established in my ever-expanding universe, A's universe. As I started working on VK, new ideas came to mind, and I expanded VK's world building. The next thing you know, I started creating characters unrelated to VK, but they exist in the same universe. That's when I decided to create a shared indie comic universe, and VK is the first comic series to kick off phase one, quote unquote, the foundation, followed by other comic series I've been working on this shared universe for 5 years and invested my own money into it. Wow, this guy's really, really putting everything into it, isn't he? Even his own money. To be impressed with that. All right. Let's see. Kristen asked, talk about your creative team that contributed to this project. Brian, my team consists of Chababit, who is my main artist, 2D and 3D in parentheses there. My brother Kevin Blackson helps with merchandising and photography. And my other brother, Darius Blackson, is our concept artist. My father, Brian H. Blackson Sr., is our promoter, and I handle the writing and video editing. My brothers own a t-shirt company, and so they design all the merch for my campaigns. Everything is done in-house. Wow, that's quite an indie an indie project there. Chris, a real family affair. What's your production workflow like? Brian, the script for all 10 chapters of this arc is complete, and production on chapter 2 begins this year. With 32 pages, 28 pages of story, VK chapter 1 set the stage for an unforgettable journey filled with action, betrayal, and mystery. Chababit, Jessica, I guess that's her real name, in parentheses there, lives in the Philippines, and we communicate through voice and video chat over Discord. I plan on hiring more artists as Venus Orion Comics expands over time. I'm treating this campaign not as a crowdfunding project, but instead it is a pre-order campaign. I'm taking all the risk by paying the money up front to get the book developed. I won't announce a campaign date until the book is completed. Then, the goal of the campaign is to use the funds to print the books and cover the shipping cost. What's left over is reinvested back into Venus Orion Comics. So this first campaign is very important because it will set the momentum for this company. Yes, well, obviously, you're doing it that way. It does make for some very interesting situations because if the book's a success and they do get everything out and they get their return quickly, then they can then they'll be able to continue on. But if things are a little bit slow, if maybe the book doesn't sell as well, then things might be a little bit more problematic. But anyways, I'd like to have Venus Orion Comics sustain itself and pay for the development of the comics instead of it coming out of pocket. This is why it took 5 years to get the universe started while getting the comic made. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Chris, what have you been learning through this process? Brian, I learned it's a lot of work figuring out shipping costs and learning how to negotiate prices for the work to be done, etc. The business isn't for the weak. This business isn't for the weak. You have to learn how to communicate clear of what you want and how it will get done. And here's a little profile page right here. Alias Young Wraith, name Hezekiah Draban, age 28, height 5'9", weapons longsword, Redeemer, as he I guess called it, and a pistol, the Bravura. Special trade, vampire hunter. At a cost. Chris, are there more stories you want to tell? Brian, yes, there are more stories to tell. My universe stories are broken into phases. Phase 1 is called The Foundation, and there are 8 comic series in this phase, starting with VK, followed by Alter Squad X, the Die-Star Champion Sonya, Neosuit Johnny, Viper and Cobra, the Great Samaritan, Omen Protocol, and Adrenaline. Wow, so this is probably where it all goes across there. Let's see, Chris. Any special features in this campaign interested supporters should look for? Brian, yes. There are tiers along with 4 variant covers. The campaign has merch such as hoodies, sweatpants, leggings, mugs, tumblers, mouse pads, wallets, posters, and more. Chris, thanks for sharing this with our readers. What final words do you have for our readers? Brian, if readers would like to see my comic become animated shorts, then spread the news to others who may find interest in Venus Orion comic and show support. And then Chris says, good luck, Brian. All right, so now that was that. So now we'll get ready to venture on into the next next portion of the story. Again, a friendly reminder to you guys, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So with that being said, let's get into this next feature here. Actually, before I do that, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back, but I will put some music on where we don't have any dead air. And I will be back. right, I'm back. So let's get back into the material here then. So of course the next book we're going to look at here is Frankie Crossroads by Mark Richard Luther. Let me go. Let's go grab that link. See which site is doing that. Let's see. And this would apparently be coming from Amazon. I just hope we can fit it all in there. Hey, Rick. I guess it split it up into a couple there. If you guys want to check this particular book out, there's the link or links right there. Um, yeah, that's kind of the pain with Amazon. They just have those long links. Hopefully, we get enough of it though there to where. But anyways, Frankie Crossroads by Mark Richard. Of course, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and um, I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. The link worked. All right, thanks, Rick. Rick just said the link worked, so that's good. All right. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase. Mark, introduce us to Frankie Crossroads. Mark Richard. Frankie Crossroads is a traveling blues frog who was born and bred in the swamp along Route 28 in upstate New York. Is on a journey to adventure. The books are 106 pages black and white and perfectly suitable for young adults. So it sounds like an interesting book there. It sounds kind of like a little traveler's book. It's something maybe you can even hand your kids, in the car, keep them entertained, possibly, if you can get them to read. But anyway, Chris, where did the idea come from? Where did the idea for this comic come from, and made you decide to self-publish it? Mark Richard, I was walking along on Route 28 towards Middleville. I heard the croaking sounds of a frog in a swamp just off the road. Plus, I was listening to the blues. I combined the ideas together. Frankie Crossroads, The Journey, was the first graphic novel a year after that. The second graphic novel, Frankie Crossroads, The Journey Continues. To self-publish so I can have more control over the work. Hi, Mark Richard Luther. Chris, tell me about your creative style and how you developed it. Mark Richard, the style is very cartoonish. As I'm drawing the illustrations, the story just develops from my mind, like the Mozart did when he was composing his music. Um, the same goes for development of these characters. Chris, is this a one-man band or do you have a creative team working with you? Mark Richard, the creative team is me, a one-man show, just like Charles Schultz did when he drew the Peanuts comic strip. I draw every day, 7 days a week, which comes natural to me. Chris, what have you been learning from self-publishing? Mark Richard, I've found that self-publishing, for me, was a very easy process. I didn't do a lot of marketing, just a few comic book conventions and crafts fairs locally, and I print the books using Ingram Sparks. What's next for Frankie Crossroads? Chris asks, and Mark Richard replies, with Frankie Crossroads, there are more stories to tell, more adventures ahead. In parentheses, I'm working on the third installment, Frankie Crossroads No Trespassing. I am 32 pages in. So, and Chris, thanks for sharing it with us, Mark. So there we go with that one. That interview went a little bit quicker. And as I said before, if you got a friendly reminder, if you guys can help out by liking, sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. And also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So with that, let's get to the final get to this final part of the final entry here. Venus Rises Crossroads by Jason G. Birdsall. Go grab the link to that. So we had a Kickstarter and Amazon, and let's see where this one comes from. Oh, tonight we got two Kickstarter campaigns and a Amazon campaign. All right. And we also seem to have Crossroads seem to be a common theme tonight, as it were. We just had the last one, Frankie Crossroads, and now we have Venus Rises Crossroads. Kind of a common theme tonight, as I got two Kickstarters and all right, and here's the link. Here's the link for that project right there. You guys want to go check that out? All right, so let's check this one out. So, Venus Rises Crossroads by Jason G. Birdsall. So, Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Jason. What's the elevator pitch for Venus Rises? Jason Birdsall. Venus Rises is an epic sci-fi comic series blending space opera, political intrigue, and human resilience. delves into an escalating war between the elites on Mars and the working class on Venus. Venus Rises, Crossroads, takes you on a pulse pounding journey into the unknown when traces of extraterrestrial life are discovered on a Jovian moon, Jovian being Jupiter. Um, Captain Dasan Locklear um, leads a daring mission that could change humanity's future. But with tensions at a breaking point, Joshua Harper, a disgraced Mars Defense Directorate operative, haunted by his past, must team up with Arani Sharma, a codebreaker and musician with an unconventional edge. Together, they'll face danger, deception, and their own inner demons as they unravel the mysteries lurking beyond Jupiter. A tale of survival, sacrifice, and the quest for truth in a fractured solar system. Putting it all out there. uh, hmm. Chris and so where did the idea? Kristen asked, where did the idea for this comic come from, and what led to your decision to self-publish? Um, Jason, the story was inspired by my love for character-driven sci-fi classics like Battlestar Galactica, Firefly, and Star Trek. I wanted to explore themes of resilience, loyalty, and moral compromise in the backdrop of a fractured humanity. I decided to self-publish this comic to retain full creative control and ensure the story stays true to my vision, which we hear a lot with these independent creators, right? That's why they maintain, that's why they do it independently, so they can maintain creative control. Um, let's see. The rise of crowdfunding platforms also gave me the opportunity to connect directly with fans and bring the project to life on my own terms. Chris, what kind of comic reader is this suited for? Jason, this comic is tailored to readers who appreciate science fiction with rich world building, political intrigue, and social commentary. Fans of dystopian futures and class struggle narratives will find it particularly engaging. I'll go back up here because I'm sure some of you will want to see that pictorial right there. Scantily clad young lady right there. Grab your attention. So then, Kristen asks, how would you describe your style? Jason, my style blends gritty realism with deep sci-fi visuals, creating a world that feels lived in, yet extraordinary. The creative process involves a lot of collaboration with my artist, and I focus on ensuring every scene has emotional weight um, and dynamic movement. From script to layout, I always make sure the tone matches the story, whether it's a fast-paced chase um, scene or a quiet moment of character reflection. Um, my team helps to refine the the mood and and atmosphere, in ensuring the final product is visually striking and narratively compelling. Let's see. Okay, that's so good. Chris, who are some of the people on your creative team? Jason, Xavier LaRouge um, did an amazing job bridging the world of Venus Rises Crossroads to life through his intricate art style, his ability to capture the emotional undertones of the story, along with his dynamic action sequences, makes the book visually captivating. Elf Kut um, not only contributed the beautiful artwork for the prologue, but also handled the lettering um, and design of the book. She's been integral in shaping the overall feel and pacing of the comic, ensuring that every word and image um, works works together seamlessly. Let's see. Kristen asks, "What's your production workflow like?" Jason, our production workflow is organized and collaborative. It starts with the script and the concept design, then moves into storyboarding and rough layouts. After that, Xavier begins illustrating the pages while Elif works on the lettering. I review the progress and stages to ensure everything aligns with the vision. As of now, Crossroads is nearly complete and just a few finishing touches left. Chris, what have you been learning from self-publishing, creating through this journey? Jason, this journey has been a masterclass in resilience and adaptability, from marketing to managing production schedules. I've learned the importance of connecting with fans and delivering on promises. Crowdfunding has shown me the power of community and the value of building trust with backers. Let's see, Chris, what are your plans beyond this book? Jason, Venus Rises Crossroads is part of a larger universe with many stories still to unfold. There are more character arcs to explore, and the overarching narrative will delve deeper into the political intrigue and complex relationships between the Mars and Venus factions. I'm already working on the next chapter with plans for even more thrilling adventures. And I hope to continue expanding um, this universe in future issues. There you go with some stuff right there. Chris, I know the campaign hasn't launched yet. Are you offering any special perks for early birds? Jason, yes, we're offering exclusive day one discounts and a limited print for early bird backers. It looks good. Okay, Kristen responds. It looks good. Is there anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Jason, Venus Rises Parallels, our first 164-page graphic novel, will be available as an exclusive add-on in our Kickstarter campaign. Kristen says, good luck. So there you go with that. So there are the three things tonight. As we wrap this portion of the show up here. That's it for this installment. If you're a creator, wrapping up your own campaign, or have a comic available for purchase online, you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here. And follow Indie Comics Showcase on Twitter at Indie Comics. And reach out to them for more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Until next time, support Indie Comics. All right, so there we go with that one. Well, let me just kind of run through real quick here before we move on here. The campaigns we went over tonight. The first one was this one. BK Variant Killers Vampire Killers. There's a link if you guys want to go check that out. That's a Kickstarter campaign. Moving on to the next one here. Frankie Crossroads from Mark Richard Lutheran. That's an Amazon campaign. There's a link there if you guys want to go check that one out. And the last one is the one we just went over. Venus Rising Crossroads. That's another Kickstarter campaign. There's a link if you guys want to go check out that one. So now, with all that being said, let's get into the wrestling wrap-up a bit here, as we do have some things go over a little bit here. As probably one of the bigger stories going on right now. Well, a couple of stories, revolving around WWE and AEW. The first one is the Corey Graves situation. So there has been some talk that he, now whether or not this is rumored to be a work or a shoot, we don't know as of yet. But as of late, Corey Graves has been coming out on social media claiming he's not happy with the switch around of, being switched from, from Raw to NXT. He was gonna say something on the other night's NXT, only for them to basically tell him to go home. There's been some rumors that this might be a signal he might be coming back to in-ring action. It's been a while since he's been in-ring action, so I guess we'll just wait and see. He was forced to initially retire, I think, because of injuries, but he's been medically cleared for a while to actually get back in the ring now. So I guess we'll be. And one of the other big news items too, which kind of go hand in hand with AEW and WWE, is the Malachi Black situation. As more speculation than anything else. So apparently AEW has taken. So there is a lot of people saying that Malachi Black's time in AEW may be done. There's been some talk and this is all rumor, this is all speculation. There's been some talk going around that, might be retiring. There's talk that WWE's interested in him, which would make sense because, from what I understand, according to most of the reports, Triple H likes him. Triple H likes his talent. Plus, to bring him back to WWE would make sense because of the fact his wife Zelina Vega works there as well. So the two of them would be working in the same company at least. There's been a lot of, again, more speculation that maybe people some people in the company may not be happy or think they thought that he kind of carried on the persona of not being professional, not willing to do jobs for people and all that. So the story is continuing to unfold. We don't have anything outright confirmed yet, so everything here is speculation in regards to Malachi Black. And until you actually hear something official from either AEW or Malachi himself, because every time people come out with these speculations, Malachi Black has said, no, this is not what's going on. So until something official does come out, these are only speculations and should be taken as such. So speaking of AEW, let's take a look back to last night's Dynamite, as as the Maximum Carnage Dynamite, as they called it. Happened. And on last night's show, the show opened up with Kenny Omega defeating Brian Cage, getting, I guess, some amount of payback for last week's attack by Brian Cage on him. There does seem to be some indication that they might be having Kenny Omega possibly maybe going after the Continental title of Kazuchika Okada. So I guess we'll wait and see. This is based due to their confrontation from a couple weeks ago, at World's End. Then the second match saw the Hurt Syndicate, all three members of Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and MVP, defeating AEW World Tag Team Champions Private Party and former Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe. Of course, the Hurt Syndicate has indicated that they have intentions to go after the AEW World Tag Team titles. Hook defeated Christian Cage via DQ. In the number one contenders Casino Gauntlet match for the women's world title, a match to be set up with the winner getting a shot at Mariah May at Grand Slam Australia in a few weeks. Toni Storm defeated Harley Cameron, Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, Megan Bayne, and Willow Nightingale to earn the shot at Grand Slam Australia. And then Jon Moxley retained the AEW World title over Powerhouse Hobbs by referee's decision. So now we're gonna look ahead real quick here to tonight's TNA Impact, as tonight having been taking place from Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. Matches on tonight's Impact on Access TV include Laredo Kid taking on Jake Something, Trent Seven taking on Leon Slater in a match that is probably will be an ex-contendership match. Steve Macklin and Eric Young team up to take on First Class of AJ Francis and Casey Navarro. And then in a non-title match, the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardys, Jeff and Matt Hardy, take on Sami Callihan and PCO. So this and other things will be happening, as this will be the go-home Impact to before this Sunday's Genesis pay-per-view. So that's all I got for you for the wrestling wrap-up now. Now, with today being Thursday, January the 16th, 2025, let's take a look back at this day in Niche history. History! 2002, 1985. And 2015. All right. So with all that being said, first off, we're going to head back 40 years ago today. On this date, 40 years ago today. On this date, 40 years ago today, back in 1985, Rick Rude defeated Pez Whatley in Tampa to become the new NWA Florida Southern Heavyweight Champion. On this date, 40 years ago today, in Tampa, Florida, Rick Rude defeated Pez Whatley to become the new NWA Florida Southern Heavyweight Champion. Now moving on to the next piece of niche history, moving ahead to 2002. On this date in 2002, which was, of course, 23 years ago today, on this date 23 years ago today, the 20th issue of Sigil from CrossGen went on sale on this date back in 2002. It was written by Barbara Kessel, a.k.a. Randall, who we've seen on our J channel before, I believe. Penciled by Eduardo Barelo. John Dell III doing the inking. Lettering done by Troy Pelleri and Dave Langler, with Jason Lambert doing the coloring. So on this date, 23 years ago today, the 20th issue of Sigil from CrossGen went on sale on this date back in 2002. And finally, moving ahead to 2015, 10 years ago today, on this date, 10 years ago today, DreamWorks Animation's adaptation of The Adventures of Puss in Boots premiered on Netflix on this date back in 2015. So 10 years ago today, DreamWorks Animation's adaptation of The Adventures of Puss in Boots, who is a character from Shrek, went on premiered on this date on Netflix 10 years ago. With that, thank you everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We'll be back here again tomorrow with more niche news, of course. And don't forget, this Sunday, Rick Piper will be joining me as we'll be looking back. Comics went on sale in April of 1940 from Lev Gleason. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.